Will the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Chairwoman Amoroso.
Here.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Voss.
Here.
Freeholder Zur.
Here.
Chairwoman Ortiz.
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Moment of silence.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence as we remember former Assemblyman Michael Ferrara, a longtime resident of Wyckoff. Mr. Ferrara was a World War II veteran who served in Europe and worked under General Eisenhower in Versailles. As a practicing attorney, Mr. Ferrara served as legal counsel to Bergen County, the Board of Chosen Freeholders, and to numerous towns across the county. Aside from his service in the Assembly, one of the professional successes he was most proud of was the founding of the Bergen Bank of Commerce. Mr. Ferrara is survived by his wife of 70 years, Grace Ann, his daughters, Donna, Virginia, and Lisa, 3 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and loved ones. Thank you. We are honored to have with us tonight Ms. Joycelyn Gilman, Executive Director of Northern New Jersey Chapter of the American Red Cross. The Freeholder Board would like to commend the Red Cross for their efforts regarding the recent fire at the Linwood Park Cooperative in Fort Lee. Your organization was instrumental in setting up shelter for displaced residents at Fort Lee High School and offering free emergency assistance to all affected by this tragic event. Would you please join us to receive your proclamation declaring March 2019 as Red Cross Month? Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to be able to provide a proclamation in recognition of American Red Cross Month. I had the distinct opportunity to serve on the board of directors of the Red Cross when the chapter was in Ridgewood, and now it's merged a few times, and now it's the Northern New Jersey chapter. But I also was at the Linwood apartment fires in Fort Lee when the Red Cross stepped up and helped all of those people that were so tragically affected by the fire that needed shelter and housing, and the Red Cross came through and still is providing assistance as we speak. So I'm very honored and pleased to be able to present on behalf of the nearly 1 million people that call Bergen County their home this proclamation in recognition of American Red Cross Month. And I'm not going to read the entire thing, but let me read a couple paragraphs. It says, whereas the American Red Cross is an important partner in our efforts to keep Bergen County residents safe and healthy, offering support to our friends and neighbors in times of great need. And whereas, since World War II, the United States has recognized the month of March as American Red Cross Month, honoring the charitable organization and its team for their commitment to alleviating human suffering. And whereas, on behalf of the nearly 1 million residents of Bergen County, I am proud to celebrate the everyday heroes of the Northern New Jersey chapter of the American Red Cross and thank the organization, its staff, and its volunteers for their service to all of us. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, James J. Tedesco, the Executive of Bergen County, in the state of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim March 2019 as American Red Cross Month. You want to take pictures?
You want to join us?
Sure. Sure.
No, please.
On behalf of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, we would like to thank you again for being here tonight. And I can't imagine what we would do without a humanitarian organization like yourself. Thank you. And everything you do for us. I especially want to thank you what you did for our residents in Fort Lee. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we have a resolution here that we'd like to present. I won't read a little bit. Whereas the American Red Cross shelters, feeds, and provides emotional support to victims of disaster, supplies 40% of the nation's blood, teaches skills that save lives, provides international humanitarian aid, and supports military members and their families. We dedicate the month of March to all of those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on volunteers and the generosity of the public to perform its mission. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bergen County Board of Chosen Freeholders hereby proclaims March 2019 as Red Cross Month. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Oh, God. I must have been really, really successful last year because I've been coming here 7 years. I've never seen so many people. So, wow. So first of all, thank you to County Executive and to the chosen freeholders of Bergen County for honouring us. I have Tom McCoy with me, who's one of our volunteers. We're actually 92% volunteer driven, but in New Jersey, we're actually 99% volunteer driven. So you should be really proud of yourselves, really. I'm just truly honoured to be here today to represent the Red Cross. And you'd mentioned about the fire in Fort Lee, so I think the one thing I'd really like to leave you with today is suggest 3 things. We actually go out and we try to prevent home fires happening. Out of the 64,000 disasters that happen every year, majority of those are home fires. So the 3 things I'd ask you to do is to make sure you have a working smoke alarm. You have about 2 minutes to get out of a burning building, so that alarm gives you a 50% more chance to get out. If you go on our website, redcross.org/prepare, it'll give you a lot of fire prevention tips. And we also really encourage you to try and create a family evacuation plan, because instead of looking for each other in 2 minutes, you should all be running out. Maybe you've chosen a tree across the road, 3 houses down to meet. But please take it really seriously, because as you've seen here, home fires are truly devastating. So again, on behalf of the American Red Cross and our volunteers and everybody here, I want to thank you, truly. Thank you all.
Thanks, boss.
Will the clerk read the minutes to be accepted?
The minutes to be accepted are March 6, 2019, public session, all present. February 13th, 2019, work session, all present.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Move the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now have the hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholder bylaws. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the board attorney will announce the time has expired. Please fill out the slip of paper with your name, address, and general topic you wish to speak about. I have quite a few from Wyckoff. The town of Wyckoff had reached out to us in regards to open space acquisition of Maple Lake property. And, oh, they're all coming before us.
We're all coming up individually,
Oh.
all the governing members of the Township Committee are here. I'm Tim Shanley, and
I'm Melissa Rubenstein.
Rudy Boonstra, former mayor, current township committee member.
Brian Scanlon, former mayor, current township committee member.
Tom Madigan, I'm the mayor of Wyckoff. As you can see, we have our full governing body here tonight. And we're happy to be here, and we're very grateful for the open space grant that you're going to be voting on this evening. We greatly appreciate it. It's 20 acres in Wyckoff, and I'm going to let my fellow colleagues just make a very brief comment.
The 20 acres that we're going to acquire with that grant are on the border of Midland Park, so Midland Park residents will also get the benefit of it. And there's quite a bit of wetlands in there that will be preserved. And when we were coming through the approval process, I got to meet Captain Bill Sheehan, and I refer to him as Captain Bill because I met Captain Bill when I worked for John F. Kennedy's Jr.'s PACE Environmental Litigation Clinic back in 92, 93. So I understand how important it is to preserve the wetlands and preserve our waterways. So thank you.
Maple Lake has been on our radar, at least my radar, since 2006, and this is a golden opportunity for us to finally seal the deal with the owners of the property. So I'd like to thank all of you for the support of our grant application.
Yeah, I too would like to thank the Freeholder Board for its consideration of our application tonight. I have walked this property twice with Captain Bill Sheehan and other members of the Open Space Advisory Board. And we all think it would be a big win if we could close this deal and acquire the property for open space. Thank you.
Wanted to thank you all for hopefully approving the grant. One of the first things I did when I was elected was to walk this property, and I saw the concrete that was used for the old swimming pool there, and it truly is a piece of Wyckoff history. So I thank you very much for preserving the open space.
Hi, my name is Bob Shannon. I'm the municipal administrator in Wyckoff. I just want to point out that we have the entire township committee here that shows how important this grant is. 10 years ago, you gave us a grant, and we purchased Russell Farms Community Park. Give us the money, we know how to do it right.
Last thing is, I know we also have as part of the grant for our municipal field. I am the liaison for the rec board and on the committee that is trying to get that all approved at Memorial Field. It'll be a new turf field as well as a walking path so our residents can walk through the park and into the center of town. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are extremely pleased that we were able to present this to you. As a matter of fact, we actually are passing a resolution that we will be granting over $16 million to several municipalities for open space. And as a board, we continue to be committed to continue acquiring open space just for multiple reasons. Physical, just for the community and for the whole county of Bergen, which will benefit all the residents. Freeholder, you had something to say?
Just really quickly, I just want to thank the Open Space Advisory Board for the hard work and diligence that they do with every application that comes forth to the county. They try and be fair and open-minded with every application that they get. And I just wanted to follow up on what the chairwoman said, that this commitment that this board has made to open space in this county and the environment in this county is second to none, and in my opinion, shouldn't even be questioned. We fully funded it. We're doing everything we need to do to take back some of the property and clean up some of the property that was destroyed over the years. So I'm so glad that we're able to do projects like this. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Chairwoman? Yes.
This just goes to show that a couple years back, we fully funded the Open Space Trust Fund. We added it back up to the penny, where years ago it was cut for budgetary reasons. And this particular Freeholder Board, as it stands now, made a commitment not to make it a political football because we know how important open space is. And that's why we bumped it back up to the original penny. And these are the results. So we thank you for having a project to bring to us, and we thank the committee for awarding all of this money to preserve Bergen County. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before you leave, we actually wanted to present a check to you.
It's one of those Happy Gilmore checks, though.
Oh, wow.
Before the ceremonial check gets presented, let me just say that open space and the recreational opportunities and the opportunities for people to enjoy pristine land and also be able to take advantage of recreational opportunities for their health and their well-being. Those are the things that this administration and with the support of the Freeholder Board are able to do. And you heard $16 million, but that's just an open space. We have farm preservation trust funds, we have Blue Acre money, and we're going to continue here in Bergen County to do these types of things with partnership and with our municipal partners to make sure that the quality of life of the people in Bergen County is preserved and enhanced. And the Township Commission, I commend you for bringing this forward to the county, and we look forward to more opportunities to work in this type of endeavor. And I would encourage anyone that has an opportunity to look at preserving open space or doing something from a recreational standpoint to bring it to us and let us evaluate it and work together on bringing that to fruition. So to the folks of Wyckoff, congratulations, because 20 acres of preserved property. Yeah, we'll go in front. Rudy, good to see you, Rudy. Thank you. Yeah, we'll go in front. See you again. Thank you. Let's go in front. We'll go in front.
Jim, want to get here?
Get in here. Yeah, go ahead. Get in here.
Tim, we'll Photoshop John, thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate your help. Thank you very much for your support. Good to see you.
Thank you.
I signed it too.
What is it?
Now the fun begins.
Wait, you took it back? That was quick. No, just kidding.
Happy Gilmore. That was good. And then Brian always adds a line. Oh, yeah.
I have to like mix them around.
So, Puerto Rico with her husband.
Okay. Caitlin Duran.
Was there with his family?
It's CAITLIN. Wow, first up. As you already know, my name is Caitlin Duran, and I am here representing, I'm the third name drop, Captain Bill and the rest of the crew at Hackensack Riverkeeper. I'm our outreach and volunteer coordinator, and in my role, I'm really blessed to work with 1,000 volunteers, and we spend our time taking trash, tires, and other pollution out of the river. I had some really important talking points here about human health and how the proposed Meadowlands power plant will affect human health, because it will, particularly air pollution. But I think I'm going to do what Bill would do and just speak from the heart and say that I am someone who boats and fishes and picks up trash along our river, and I've seen firsthand the degradation in different parts stretching from Bergen through Hudson. And I've also seen the resiliency and the return of wildlife, and it's amazing. And what this power plant does is put an added burden on our river, and it can't take it. It's overburdened. It's just another thing. Not now. Captain Bill, who is the youngest 7-year-old I know, I'm sure he doesn't appreciate that on the record, but he is the youngest 7-year-old I know, says that he doesn't know if he's going to see this river become fishable and swimmable in his lifetime, but I certainly hope to see it that way in mine. And the proposed Meadowlands power plant works against that, not for it. So thank you for listening to my little speech today. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Stiles.
My name's Michael Stiles. I'm the business manager of Piper's Local 274 in the northern end of the state, which covers from the Hudson River to the Delaware River, from Newark to New York State. We also cover gas distribution and mainline gas across the whole state of New Jersey. First, let me address an 800-pound gorilla comment that was brought about the labor unions. It's the environmental group that they and their lobbyists that they have spent $1 billion in the state of New Jersey to push renewable energy projects like offshore wind energy at a cost of over 5 times higher per megawatt, and solar at a cost of 7 times higher per megawatt than conventional natural gas power generation. The cost you expect the ratepayers of New Jersey to absorb in their utility bills. It's time for all of you to stop coming to these meetings like this and impose your bully-like tactics on people of our state and start putting your money where your mouth is and spend your money to fund renewable energy projects. That will reduce the cost of renewable projects and relieve the ratepayers of high utility bills. The Diamond Generating Project is the cleanest power generating facility ever to be built in the Northeast. It is in the area of North Bergen, Hudson County, that was an old toxic dump doing far more environmental damage to the Meadowlands than the power plant would. The Diamond Energy Project will actually clean up the property. Diamond Energy Group, the company, has built many projects in the state of California with the strictest environmental regulations in the country. Now let's talk a few facts here. Local 274's headquarters was located in Richfield, New Jersey since 1970, where we were good tax-paying people to the town of Richfield. Mayor Suarez of Richfield had no problem with the Siemens Technology Power Terminal that was built to send power over to Con Edison in New York City, forcing Local 274 either to relocate or have our property taken under eminent domain so the project could be completed. Mayor Suarez made sure the town of Richfield got theirs in the way of tax ratables, and now... Stop.
Wrap it up.
Oh, it's time?
Yeah.
Already?
There's a, yeah.
Okay. I had a lot more to say.
There's a lot of speakers here that would, I'm sure, like to address the board too.
Oh,
Speak. Just wrap it up.
couple bit? All right, so the mayor got his tax ratables, but he has a lot to say about North Bergen getting the same thing. 3 times the Nautilus offshore wind energy project off the coast of Atlantic City has been denied by the New Jersey BPU, Board of Public Utilities, citing the high cost per megawatt at the payers in the state of New Jersey. Governor Murphy has set a very aggressive renewable energy policy for the state, which will be laid out in his energy master plan in the spring. He has pledged to build 3,500 megawatts of offshore wind energy by 2030. Keeping that in mind, Oyster Creek Nuclear, Hudson Generating, Duck Island PSE&G power plants and the BL England power plant in Cape May County have already been retired, shut down, leaving ratepayers to rely on National Grid. Governor Murphy's 3,500 megawatt of offshore wind by 2030 only equals what was already lost in the state of New Jersey.
Mr. Stiles, can you wrap it up, or if you can maybe send us, all the freeholders, a letter?
I sent written comment there.
Great.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
I can't, we can't do
You
that.
can't do that?
We give everyone 3 minutes.
Okay. Keep going.
No.
Sir, we can't allow that.
What, can you have
What?
somebody
No.
else?
Yeah,
Have somebody else finish reading it for you.
All right.
That's fair. We gotta fill out a slip, though, right?
Warren Stella, 15 Arminda Avenue, Midland Park, New Jersey. Stella. Longtime resident of Bergen County, and I'll be here for the rest of my life. PSE&G, the state's largest utility company, has said it will shut down its nuclear facilities in Salem County in less than 3 years if they do not receive the financial subsidies needed to keep the power generating plants open. Salem 1, 2, and 3 and Hope Creek supply 1/3 of New Jersey's power in South Jersey and produce 3,631 megawatts of clean burning energy, leaving ratepayers to rely on the national grid even further. Now let's talk about the natural gas pipeline problems that you people all oppose. The Northeast Gas Utilities, as of March 15, 2019, have imposed a moratorium on new gas services due to the lack of sufficient natural gas pipeline in the region. Con Edison will no longer accept applications for new connections in the majority of its service area because of the pipeline constraints, leaving New York City, the economic engine of the world, without the power and natural gas to build power generation. Enbridge Chief Executive Al Monaco said this month that demand for more capacity in the Northeast region is on the rise, while pipeline constraints result in the consumers paying through the nose for higher-priced oil and imported liquefied natural gas, leaving consumers and utility companies to use dirty number 2 fuel oil in the region for power generation and home heating needs. National Grid has stated they will be forced to declare a moratorium on supplying natural gas to large projects and redevelopment projects if pipelines do not receive needed state permits by May 15, 2019. These are the facts. We don't have the natural gas, we don't have the power, and we still don't have the renewable energy projects. I have been in the office for close to 20 years, and I've heard the environmental groups talk for 20 years. It's time to stop crying wolf and just talking about problems and start putting your money where your mouths are, instead of spending $1 billion on high-priced lawyers and lobbyists, and spend your money on renewable energy projects. Remember, if you cry wolf long enough, no one will listen. One other thing, I grew up in the shadows of the public service plant in Richfield. I lived in Richfield Park my whole life. We watched them burn coal. Then they switched to oil. And then there was a problem with the oil, so we went to clean-burning natural gas, okay? Now, all of a sudden, natural gas is the enemy. What's going to happen after natural gas? What's the next enemy? Okay? Thank you for your time.
Nicholas Lento. Nicholas Lento? I guess he's not here.
Yeah, he's there, he's
here?
coming, he's handing the camera over.
Oh.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. Nick Lento, Cliffside Park, New Jersey. My time starts now, I guess? Okay, thank you very much. I was hoping Jeff Tittle would make it here. Jeff Tittle is the environmentalist who really has all the facts down. But since he's not able to get in for some reason, maybe he couldn't find a place to park, I think that what I'll do is I'll just speak off the cuff based on facts that I've heard from him and from other people. Number one, this plant, nobody in New York wants it or needs it. All the power generated here is for New York City. None of it goes to New Jersey, whether or not the nuclear plant opens or closes. So that's number one. Number two, this plant is using gas, but I don't know if I'd call it natural gas because it's going to be fracked. Fracked gas has contaminants in it from all the fracking chemicals and all the crap to go with that. Also, when this plant doesn't have enough natural gas, it's going to be burning fuel oil. That is the backup contingency when the gas can't come through. Number three, or four, whatever number it is, it's going to have a cooling tower. That cooling tower is going to be cooled with sewer water, treated sewer water, but it's still sewer water that the BCUA is going to have to pipe in and pipe out again. That stuff is going to evaporate. That's the way it works. That's how it cools. All that sewer water has contaminants in it, some of it radioactive. Millions of people are going to be breathing that thousands of tons of garbage for the next 25 to 30 years. That's the lifetime of that plant. And those millions of people vote. Let me tell you something. They're not going to forget about this. If you guys do not stop this thing from happening, the political movement is going to come back to haunt you because people care more about breathing than about 400 or 500 people working for a few months. And let me tell you something else, guys. The answer, okay, is this America? Is this America? Let's look at this. Let me talk. Let me talk. Okay, please give me an extra 30 seconds for that, please. Let me say something. The way to get all of these wonderful people working, and I've been in a union, the Bush's Union, Amalgamated Bush's Union, I've been in a union, and the 1262. Anyway, the way to get all of these good people working is to change the zoning and construction codes to mandate better insulation so they don't have to use so much energy. And then you'll have a lot higher quality building and housing. And you'll have a lot more people like this working at good union jobs, making good labor, instead of immigrants coming in here working for contractors for $12 an hour off the books. Put these people to work, okay? Think about this, fellas. Think about your children who live in an area who have to breathe that air for the next 15, 20, 35 years. Think about New Jersey being called Cancer Alley. We've had enough cancer. Cancer costs a lot more than letting things be polluted. And also there's the future in terms of global warming. I'm going to shut up. How much time do I have left?
3 seconds.
That's it? All right. I want to thank you very much. I love you guys. I understand why you're here. You got to make a living. I don't blame you a bit. But let me tell you, there's more to this than you guys know.
Time's up.
You're being used.
Ed Smith. Ed Smith. Ed Smith. Is Mr. Smith here? Guess he left. Scott Lamorticella.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Bergen County Board of Chosen Freeholders. I'm Scott Lamorticella. I'm the business agent for Local 696 Sprinkler Fitters, and I'm here representing my Bergen County members. First of all, I'd just like to say we appreciate everything you do, and my local is in full support of you. And just a quick question, the last time I checked, is North Bergen part of Bergen County? Thank you, have a great night.
For the next speakers, please quiet down. The court reporter cannot take notes with everyone screaming, so just give the time and respect for whoever comes up for their 3 minutes. Next, Janet Glass.
Respect. Thank you very much for letting me speak. My name is Janet Glass. I live in North Bergen and not far from the plant that would be built. I have grandchildren. I'm very concerned about the methane, about the ground level ozone, and all the chemical release that is predicted to come from this plant. I am also the leader of Green Faith, which is a circle of congregations that are in Bergen County. There are 8 congregations, and all of us are in agreement that no new fossil fuels plants should be built, period. We are running out of time. We're in a climate crisis, and we believe that fossil fuels are implicated in that. And to start with a brand new fossil fuels plant at this point, we think is very misguided. Thank you.
Excuse me, could I just ask you one question? Chairwoman, do you mind?
Yes.
Have you gone to the Freeholder Board in Hudson County?
Not yet, but we're planning to.
Have you reached out to any Hudson County legislators?
Yes.
Okay, how many have signed your petition?
They are not receptive because they're looking at short-term profits over long-term
I'm just
health
saying,
concerns.
Everyone seems to be coming here to Bergen County. We don't even have any say over this project. This is a Hudson County issue.
Well, the air,
And I respect your opinion.
this plant will be on the border of Richfield and North Bergen. The air is going to travel, and it's going to come to Bergen
I
County.
understand, and all I'm saying is, and I understand everybody's argument. I'm not for or against it. I'm just telling you, I think that you're in the wrong venue. I think you should be in Hudson County first, and then when they get on board, come see us in Bergen County. That's just my opinion.
I understand that. But frankly, Hudson County, North Bergen is looking at tax revenues. They're not looking at long-term health concerns. That's their bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you. Jan Bevy? Jan?
There's people in the hallway, I don't know if they could hear.
Jan Bevy? Or Bovey? Can't read. Is she coming?
I guess not.
Wait, I think she's coming. She's coming? Okay.
Doing it so because they can't get here to the mic.
Barry. I live in Teaneck. Sorry for the delay. There's a crowd going all into the hallway, quite a ways. I'm on the board of the New Jersey Highlands Coalition. We have clean water in the half of the state that gets water from the highlands because there's regional planning. There's no regional planning in New Jersey regarding air quality. That's why we need to talk about this situation in Bergen County, and we'll talk about it in Essex County, and we'll talk about it in Hudson County, because we all share the same air corridor. I have bronchitis. It gets worse under certain air conditions. Many other people, particularly in Newark, have high levels of asthma right now under current conditions of the air. So that's just one additional aspect of this that needs to be addressed. This plant is not needed in New Jersey, and yet we're saying, well, we need to take it. We need to start addressing our own responsibilities as a region for having cleaner air. Thank you.
Thank you. Eleanor Grazel?
Grayzel. I'm Eleanor Grazel from Englewood, New Jersey, and I'm here because I'm concerned about the air quality also. There are air pollutants emitted from these power plants that cause cancer, respiratory disease, birth defects, and cancers and chronic health impacts, liver, kidney, reproductive, nervous, cardiovascular systems. I urge you to pass the resolution to oppose the Meadowlands Power Plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Rick Sabato.
I don't know about 50. It's over 100, yeah.
Hey, Rick Sabato, long-life resident of Bergen County, and I reside at 176 Mill Street, Westwood, New Jersey. And I represent the Bergen County Building Trades, 25,000 members, and it equates to 100 people, 100,000 people with family members. And she votes, we vote, all right? And I listen, and all of you are friends of us up here at the Freeholder Board. The last time at the workshop, they come here, they want to attack Bergen County. Go to Hudson County and attack them. This ain't the venue here. I'm here to support the Freeholder Board tonight. And I'm here with all my members to support all 7 of you. All right? We don't need to get abused from the environmentalists. All right? We have done Highlands, the Highlands Act. Jim McGreevy brought it up. We were in favor of the Highlands Act, the building trades, because we would know it would be more development in the urban areas. We were for clean water. We're for clean energy, but it's not going to get us there right now. Solar and wind. We install all those systems. All right? We can't impose huge bills on our residents here in Bergen County, the 1 million residents that live here. All right? You're talking double the electric bill, double or triple. Right, you know what the state legislators did here with this nuclear power plant down in Salem County. They gave them the subsidies. It was a huge fight, but that's what they need. They need subsidies for clean energy. Gray water systems, that's what it's going to be, gray water. It's going to be clean water going into the power plant, all right? I sat with the riverkeeper. He was a little upset that the out-of-towners came up here, the Food and Water Commission, and didn't tell them that they're coming into their jurisdiction. We work directly with the riverkeeper every day. So I'm here to support the Freeholder Board. Let's go down to Hudson County. We'll be down there too. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Ludner. Lori Ludner.
Laurie, L-A-U-R-I-E, Ludmer, L-U-D-M-E-R. I've been living in Teaneck now for probably over 26 years. I am a mother and a grandmother, and I'm very, very concerned about the gas plant. And and I see there are a lot of guys here, and I understand that they're concerned for work. Absolutely. Everybody needs a job. Everybody wants a job. And my sympathy goes out with these guys. But to do it through fossil fuel is not the way. Renewable energy is the way. It's the way now. It's the way into the future. I can talk about the bad health that this gas plant, the air, I mean, it's already been said. There are other ways to create jobs, good jobs, than through a gas plant using fracked gas. And it's not a lie. If you look into the science of it, you'll see it's the fact, and you'll see what is on the horizon is not creating more fossil fuel. That's not on the horizon. If that's on the horizon, we don't have a horizon. Your children, your grandchildren won't have a place. It has to stop. We have to be forward-thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bruce Packer.
Bruce Packer, P-A-C-K-E-R, Mayor of Glen Rock. I had actually prepared some comments, but I'm not going to read them. I'm going to speak a little from Hello. Glen Rock is awesome. I'm not, can I speak? Thank you. If you want to speak, sign up. Thank you. Even though you're from Glen Rock and you're awesome. And I'm cutting into my time. I actually wanted to address what Freeholder Sullivan said, so most of what I said has already been addressed. Like 40-something municipalities in Bergen County, Glen Rock signed a resolution opposing the power plant. The power plant is not near Glen Rock. So why do we bother doing this? Why are we here and why am I here? Because, first of all, 40-something municipalities signed on, which means 40-something mayors. I think I'm the only mayor here to talk because too many people are afraid to express their opinion in front of a room like this. And, okay, I'm not running again, so I'm not losing any votes. But that's what people worry about, and that's wrong. If you believe that climate change is real, and I know that you all do, I think it's our responsibility to speak up about it when it's right in our backyard. Whether or not it's in Bergen County or right near the border, it's going to affect all of us. So I think it's perfectly right for people to be coming here to talk about it because passing the resolution opposing it carries some power, and you all know that. A lot more power than the one that 40-something municipalities passed, including Glen Rock. So how many? 48 municipalities. And, I am always for labor first, and I hope that we can find a way to create jobs in a way that some of us don't have to oppose for other reasons. And I'm sorry that if this didn't happen, it would cost jobs that would otherwise happen. I want people to have jobs and work, but not with this plant. So please consider opposing it. Thank you for your consideration. And many of you have come to a lot more Glen Rock meetings than Freeholders. Now I've been to one, so I'll try to catch up. And I do thank you all for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Gumble.
Good evening. Dan Gumble, 630 Chase Avenue, Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Thanks for taking the opportunity to let me speak. There's a lot of statements that were said this evening. A couple of them are regarding the power plant. First of all, there's a problem with the infrastructure throughout the entire country. This power plant is going to be built not in the Meadowlands, which I live in, by the way. It's going to be sent to New York. However, there's a national grid. In the event that there's power to be sent anywhere else, it can be distributed to our neighborhoods. Right now, any power plant that is built is going to be the cleanest possible energy plant built. And that goes for anything that's built today, this won't be built for a few years, or anything that's been built in the past. Creates a lot of jobs. It's a private funded project, which will cost the taxpayers nothing, and it is in Hudson County. And I think that this venue should be in Hudson County and not in Bergen. But we are here this evening, and I do like to say that a lot of people here in this room are here in support of it because it creates jobs. However, we do build wind farms, we do build solar. However, today, it's a supplement of what the power that's needed. There's just not enough power out there. And if this does not happen, eventually our neighboring state, Pennsylvania, will burn more and more coal, and that coal will come over to New Jersey. So I appreciate the time to speak here this evening, and I'd like you to, like Freeholder Sullivan said, bring it to Hudson County where it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol Bratman.
Thank you. My name is Carol Bratman, C-A-R-O-L, B-R-A-T-M-A-N. I'm a resident of Teaneck, but I used to live in North Bergen. I'm not going to talk science or anything, and I'm not going to talk jobs. It's all been said. I'm just going to talk about a personal cautionary tale for everyone. We all need clean air. That's a fact. We all need clean water and food that's healthy. I moved to Teaneck thinking that it was a very clean, wonderful community. I've been living there 45 years. Both my daughters grew up there. 2 years ago, within 6 weeks, both my daughters were diagnosed with cancer. One was 37, one was 41. There is no genetic issue involved, and you wonder, how does this happen? We were told all along from Suez, the water is clean. Well, guess what? After I got through the shock of it, I kept thinking, what could be the cause? It had to be something environmental. I had my water tested. It came back on a scale of 1 to 100 of 46. What was in my water? Lead, arsenic, and dibromides. Now, I contacted Suez. Again, they said our water is clean. That was last year. This year, we just got a letter from Suez saying, you know what? There's lead in the water. All of these are carcinogens. Where does it come from? The environment. It comes from the air, it comes from the water, it comes from the ground. I don't want anyone else to have to go through what my family has gone through. And so I ask you all to consider the environmental impacts of any kind of building anywhere. You were very excited about giving a grant for creating green space in Wyckoff, and you were all very pleased and very generous about that grant, and I commend you for that. All I ask is that you consider what environmental impact it has on our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken Dulski.
D-O-L-S-K-Y. Good evening. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to speak. A week ago, I spoke to you about the resolution opposing the Meadowlands Power Plant, asking you to put it on your agenda tonight. And I mentioned a similar exercise we went through on the Pilgrim Pipeline project, and the same issue of union jobs being the silent 800-pound gorilla, although not so silent this evening. And we believe that caused you to struggle with that issue and produced a very weak resolution as a compromise. I see that we're on really good behavior here. This generated a comment from you to the effect that after all the fuss over the Pilgrim resolution, it never got built. The pipeline never got built. The implication was that resolutions don't have any effect and our efforts were futile. Let me demonstrate and explain one way in which resolutions stopped that pipeline. All pipelines need a pumping station at their starting point. Pilgrim needed one in Albany at the depot where the trains were delivering Bakken oil. The company that owns the trains and the facilities to offload them and pump the oil onto barges is Global Partners. Global owns the property where the trains are offloaded. Pilgrim asked them to lease space to Pilgrim for its pumping station. Global refused to allow construction of pipeline-related equipment, and they cited the existing environmental processes Pilgrim would need to go through. And then they stated, equally important, Pilgrim must acquire access to multiple properties along the pipeline route, a Herculean task in light of the uniform opposition to the project, both in New York and New Jersey. And then they added the footnote, which said, For a list of the municipalities in New York and New Jersey that have adopted resolutions opposing the pipeline, see stoppilgrimpipeline.com/resolutions. That's the page on our website showing all the municipal resolutions. So while not being the only reason that the pipeline was not built, it is clear that our resolutions impacted the willingness of companies to do business with Pilgrim and had a role in stopping this pipeline. Municipalities are standing together, as the 48 towns in Bergen County have done, and demonstrating their position through resolutions have great political power and influence. You cannot argue that it is a futile effort as a reason for avoiding your responsibility to protect the residents of Bergen County. And the reason that we're here, and not necessarily in Hudson, is Hudson County has no more power than you do to stop this. It's a matter of politics and showing mass numbers and influencing the governor, who does have the power to stop it. Thank you.
Freeholders, oh, you have something to say?
Yes, please. So I just wanted to address, like I did last week, the fact that last week it was all about our decision. You mentioned the unions, and that's why this board didn't make decisions. But on the way out the door, without me having an opportunity to respond, you talked about a weak resolution. You know, I take offense to the fact that this board took action. It took action that you guys repeatedly came to the meeting asking for, and because it wasn't exactly what you wanted and how you wanted it, you weren't satisfied. That seems to always be the problem, is that no matter how many times you guys come, you're never satisfied with the decisions we make. We passed a resolution opposing the pipeline as it stood and where it was located, because that's how this board felt after many, many meetings and many, many discussions, and that wasn't satisfactory enough to you. I just want you to know I take offense to the fact that you're going to come up here again 2 weeks in a row and insult this board on actions that we've taken. Time's up.
Lauren Schreier. Lauren Schreier.
That's for everybody, just the way the rest of the people are. No.
Lauren, last name Schreyer. Hello. So I have a couple of points. First of all, one thing that hasn't been mentioned is property values. I think that probably a lot of people in this room are homeowners, and if we're living in an area that's going to be getting a lot more air pollution, obviously the property values are going to go down, and this is going to become a less desirable place to live. So you have to think of the long-term economic implications. Is this really, even if it creates jobs in the short term and a few in the long term, is it really going to have an overall good effect? And the other thing is, I mean, this is not even for us. This is for New York City, at least for the most part. And I feel like, you know, New Jersey has gotten a lot of pollution over the years that we're now cleaning up to this day because New York City has dumped its waste on us over the decades, overall, pretty much. So I kind of feel like this is just another instance of that. And the thing is, like, if we're not going to switch to renewables now, then when? I mean, you can see the IPCC reports. You can see that basically we're running out of time, and people are saying, oh, it's not time yet, it's not time yet. Then when will it be time? We're going to have to invest in it, or we're going to have to pay the price later. It's either pay now or pay later. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Latowit. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly.
Good effort. Tom Latourette from Rutherford, Latoureette. I'm here today as a concerned citizen, and because I have a 9-year-old daughter at home who breathes, and one of her best friends who has asthma and will find it much more difficult to breathe if this plan is approved and the pollution goes into the air, which will happen if it's approved. About the Hudson County and Bergen County debate, just wanted to mention there is in regards to what another gentleman said, the plant will require 8.6 million gallons of sewage discharge water per day to cool the plant, some of which will be released as steam. That water will come from the Bergen County Utilities Authority across the Hackensack River and Little Ferry, still in Bergen County, from a new two-way pipeline. So I think you're showing opposition might have some input on their decision-making, perhaps. The cooling water will pick up, or can pick up, heavy metals such as lead and mercury from the pipes and volatile organic compounds, as well as treatments such as algicides and fungicides, all of which will evaporate in the water and will be released in the steam that comes out of the smokestacks. And that will respect no county borders. Pollution doesn't care about Hudson County or Bergen County. It will go with the prevailing wind. Much of it will remain trapped in the Meadowlands Basin, where many of us live. And I wanted to speak a moment about the political reality in New Jersey. We all know, realistically, we face a much harder battle in Hudson County because of the mayor of Bergen County, who also happens to be a very powerful state senator, I believe. North Bergen, sorry, North Bergen. And has pretty much shut down opposition in Hudson County due to the nature of his long-term power position. So this is a chance for Bergen County to be a voice of reason, whereas an opposition to the voices of greed and short-term profit in sacrifice to long-term health. I hope you'll fulfill your duty to support the health and safety of the residents of Bergen County and support a resolution against. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Chairwoman?
Freeholder
The
Sullivan.
only thing I want to address is we continue to talk about the water that's going to be used for the cooling towers. It's called gray water. I'm going to ask, does anyone know what would happen to that water if it's not used for the cooling towers? It goes back in the Hackensack River. So it's treated as best as can be treated. It's used for the cooling tower. We're saving, if this project were to go through, you're saving all those millions of gallons that are polluted, according to everyone here, that would go right into the Hackensack River. You can forget about fishing there in our lifetime. Okay? I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, right? So, I'm not being arrogant, I'm just telling people that we continue to talk about the same issue, yet we don't understand what gray water is, and I think we need to find out. You all need to educate yourself on what gray water is. Thank you.
I don't know. Looks like an eight. From Allendale, Julie. Is it Chites? Julie from Allendale.
I know.
She not here? It says Julie, but I can't read her last name. She not here? No. Go to the next one. Cassandra Worthington. Oh, wait. Just coming.
Cassandra Worthington. Worthington, Worthington. Yeah. All right. My name is Cassandra, and I'm affiliated with Food and Water Watch. My stake in this game is that when we talk about the vulnerable people who are going to be affected by this plant, I have asthma, so we're talking about me. This fracked gas power plant will be the largest source of air pollution and greenhouse gases in New Jersey and New York. This is our problem because the pollution from this power plant will inundate Bergen County. The area in Bergen County that will be impacted by the most is already struggling with significant air pollution. As an EMT, I have seen the effects of asthma and COPD. And as you must already know, the American Lung Association State of the Air report rated Bergen County very poorly with an F in ozone levels and claimed that Bergen County has some of the highest populations with pediatric and adult asthma, COPD, and lung cancer. These conditions will only be exacerbated by additional volumes of air pollution and ozone precursors. If this plant is built, more residents in Bergen County will incur health care and financial costs associated with increased pollution. Please protect our most vulnerable residents. The EPA reviewed our air quality and came up with the standard of 0.07 parts per million of ozone precursors that is within a healthy rate. And My background is in teaching, and all teachers know that you cannot give up on someone when they're failing. You put your energy into this work. Likewise, we do not need to act in protecting our air. We need to act in protecting our air and keeping us from failing next year. It's not fair that this county will be using Bergen County tax dollars for a wastewater pipeline to cool down the power plant. As you know, this plant does not serve this county or this state. New York City gets all the energy and we get the pollution. 48 towns in Bergen County have passed resolutions to oppose the project, and we ask you to join in passing the resolution too. And on a personal note, my dad is a president of a construction union at home. I understand what it feels like.
Please
I was a teacher, and can you listen, please?
Please have respect for the speaker, please.
On a personal note, I know what it's like to have a dad who is between jobs, temporary jobs.
Please address us.
That'll solve it.
And it sucks. And I understand that. This is not about that. This is about your children breathing in this air. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Esparza.
Thank you.
ESPARCA. I live in North Bergen, but you might ask why I'm here, but I came here in support of my Bergen County friends, and because they cannot be here tonight, I want to speak on their behalf. I just want to say that I'm very concerned about this power plant and what it's going to do to the environment. I think that we can no longer ignore what's happening. You know, every year hurricanes are getting worse. We have more earthquakes. We have more natural disasters, and the billions start costing us. We can just not take that anymore. I believe that climate change is real and that we need to start taking action now. And I really urge you to oppose to this power plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Ted Glick.
God, where's he? Gosh. Huh? Where did you? I don't know. She's not bringing me up.
G-L-I-C-K. Good evening. My name's Ted Glick. I'm from Bloomfield, New Jersey. I'm the president of 350, New Jersey Rockland, which works throughout the state, primarily from the standpoint of the climate crisis. I think it is kind of noteworthy. I haven't heard anybody who's spoken tonight say that they don't think that the climate crisis is real. Maybe that's progress, right? Maybe there are a few who don't think that the climate crisis is real. Maybe people who experienced Superstorm Sandy. You know, if you think about what happened to them and that incredible hurricane that made a left turn to come into the mainland, when every other hurricane I've ever seen, it goes out to sea. That says something about what's happening to our changing climate. I didn't eat for 2 weeks in November of last year as part of a climate fast down in Trenton, focused on Governor Murphy, calling upon Governor Murphy to put a moratorium on all 12, including the Meadowlands, all 12 of the fossil fuel expansion projects that right now are being in the process of either being approved or not approved or permitted. And I didn't eat for those 2 weeks, and there are about 50 other people around the state who didn't eat for between 1 and 14 days. I didn't eat for those 14 days. I only drank water, and I took potassium and salt and vitamin C. That was it. And I did it because I believe from my 15 years of working in this area of global warming and the climate crisis that we are in really, really deep you-know-what in this world, in this country, in this state. And the state needs to give leadership, and local people like those 48 mayors and town councils in Bergen County need to give leadership on this issue right now. We don't have a lot of time to solve this. We got to get serious about it now. We can't dig a deeper hole by building more and more fossil fuel plants, gas pipelines, increasing fracking, and all the rest of it. That's why I fasted, and that's why I continue to do this work. I urge all of you in this room, all of you, to think about your children and your grandchildren and the 7 generations to come.
Sir, can you address the board?
I understand about jobs. I get it. The reality is a great deal, many more jobs will be created when we get serious about the shift to renewable energy. Renewable energy is growing about 10 times as fast as the rest of the economy over the last number of years. So it's a win-win-win if we look at what's really going on and take action accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim, you need a break? We're going to have a 5-minute break.
Take a motion, no?
Oh, that's right.
Kim,
a motion?
We're going to take a motion.
Take a 5-minute break.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to go back to the public session? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're back in the public. Shh. I ask everyone to please quiet down. Our stenographer cannot do her job taking notes, so please, I beg you, respect the speaker who's at the podium. And I ask anyone who's coming up to speak to please address the board and not the public. Thank you. Hannah Cohn, or Khan. Oh, I said it right.
My name is Hannah. I'm here on behalf of, can you hear me now?
No, it's off.
I don't know if the mic off.
It's coming off.
Yeah, it was off.
There you go.
Thanks. Hi. My name is Hannah. I'm here on behalf of my grandmother who can't be here tonight. She lives in Edgewater. And she's worked for decades, in part with the Hackensack Riverkeepers, to improve the environment and water quality in this area. And as her granddaughter, I felt obligated to continue her efforts even though she couldn't be here tonight. Wetlands such as the meadowlands serve many beneficial functions. They're a natural filtration system purifying our water. They preserve biodiversity by hosting a great number of plant and animal species. They play a crucial role in flood mitigation by absorbing stormwaters, protecting urban or residential communities in nearby flood zones. The construction of and pollution from the proposed plant could affect quantity and quality of water flows, thereby harming the delicate animal and plant habitats in the wetlands and undermining their critical hydrological functions. The rehabilitation of the meadowlands, which has been a triumph for local groups such as the Hackensack Riverkeepers, that have worked to recover this area, would be squandered in order to provide power to the New York City residents. And digging a 40-foot trench through the Meadowlands to connect to Williams Transco pipeline risks damage to these sensitive wetlands. Also, the connection to the Williams pipeline may require upgrades to the line and expansion of its compressor station at Riverdale, risking increases in dangerous emissions from the compressor station. I'm proud to be the granddaughter of somebody who's worked in this county for so many decades to improve the environment, to clean up the toxic waste and dumping that has often happened from New York City. And as we've just started to see the reclamation of the meadowlands and the flourishing environment that's come as a result from that, I really urge this Board of Chosen Freeholders to oppose the Meadowlands plan and protect the environment. Thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Alec Melman. Alec Melman. Granita Biglani. Granita.
Alec. I'm Pranita. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
It's like he just woke up.
Oh, my God.
ALEC MELMAN MAN. Yes. I don't know what I got myself into here. I didn't come for the same reason. I don't think most of these people are here, but it was the only meeting I can make it to. It's regarding a complete streets policy for the county, which I don't know why there isn't one yet. And I encourage the freeholders to please adopt one. But specifically, I came to discuss DeGraw Avenue and connecting Overpeck Park. I'm a biker, a commuter biker, and there's no way currently to get from one side of the park to the other, from Leonia to Teaneck, and that is a road that is in desperate need of there's no sidewalk, there's no place for bikes, but there's plenty of room for cars, and I'm hoping, I don't even know where to begin, so I came here, and that's all I came to say. So I'm sure these people have a lot more important things to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's his name? Mr. Molman? Mr. Molman? Mr. Molman?
So I just want to
The
let,
freeholder had something to say to you.
Yes.
guys, calm down, please.
Please.
Thank you for coming up tonight. I'm going to work with the administrator and the parks director to see what we can do to try and resolve that. So if my aide will give you the number so you can contact my office during the week so you can give me a little bit more detail, okay?
I would love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Granita?
Sure, it's Pranita, and my last name is B as in boy, IJLANI.
Please, can we please keep it quiet to give someone a chance to speak?
Hi, my name is Pranita Bijlani, and I'm here to urge the freeholders to support the resolution to oppose the Meadowlands power plant. I've come all the way from Union County, but I grew up here in Bergen County, and my parents still live here in Haworth, and they're elderly. I'm very concerned about the toxic pollution, the hundreds of tons of toxic pollution that would be emitted by the power plant and how it would compromise and harm vulnerable populations, such as my elderly parents, as well as young children in the area. I'm a school teacher, so I care a lot about children as well. I'm also concerned about the irretrievable damage this power plant would do to the unique ecology of the area. I frequent the Meadowlands Environmental Center, and I know the enormous percentage of migratory birds in the entire continent that come through the Meadowlands and depend on the area to feed and nest. The wetlands, as the speaker, a couple of people before me said, also help filter water and mitigate damage from flooding. The residents of Bergen County care a lot about the quality of life and the surrounding environment, not just supplying energy to New York City. The power plant will also be the second largest source of greenhouse gases in the state and will be a huge step backwards and kind of a contradictory step in terms of what our state is moving towards in terms of getting off of greenhouse gases and fossil fuels. And this is an urgent matter, as others have brought up, because we are in a planetary crisis. Looking at the IPCC report, we have got 12 years. We're really kind of at the tipping point or beyond the tipping point, really. It can no longer be ignored. We don't want any additional additional Superstorm Sandys in the state, the whole world is really depending on some of our decisions. The time to create jobs is in renewable energy, not in fossil fuel plants. And infrastructure, we need to meet and beat our transition to 100% renewable energy by 2050, as the governor has pledged. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Paul Tomasco.
Tomasko. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to be here with you for the first time in quite a number of years. I don't know the resolution that you say you passed a week or so ago, Freeholder Tonelli, but if indeed it is opposing this power plant, I thank you and commend this board for it. What I can do is tell you that my town is one of the 48 that passed the resolution that was made for us by the Food and Water Watch people, and also that the Bergen County League of Municipalities, which speaks, by the way, for all 70 towns in this fine county, unanimously passed the same resolution. I have never, in all the years that I've given my time to my town, seen a better researched, more comprehensive resolution than the one that these people from Food and Water Watch put together for us. And in fact, there are 38 whereases and 27 footnotes in that resolution. I would like to read a couple sentences from just one of those whereases. It's the 25th whereas. Whereas an alternative approach to producing energy from solar panels, which would avoid all of the environmental and health issues noted in this resolution while still providing new jobs and other financial benefits to local towns, and would be in conformance with Governor Murphy's goal to increase the use of renewable energy, even if all the electricity was sold to New York City, could potentially gain local support and should be considered. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hearing me, and I wish you a good evening, and also I commend your patience for that you've shown to all of us in this regard.
Thank you. Excuse me, Mr. Tomasco, the resolution that they spoke about was for the pipeline, and if I'm not mistaken, that was in 2015, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was about the pipeline, Mayor. Just to clarify.
I just wanted to clarify that. Mike Schneider.
I didn't fast for 2 weeks. No, I'm sorry. Schneider, S-C-H-N-E-I-D-E-R. Ladies and gentlemen, the Freeholder Board, I appreciate the few minutes you're going to give me to speak. I apologize, I got here late, so I've been sitting in the back of the room listening to a lot of the comments made tonight, and I just want to speak on a few things. I represent the insulators, but I'm also a lifelong member of 62 years in Bergen County. I was originally born in North Bergen, and I know the area that this thing is going to be built in. I'm at Bucamino Park on a regular occasion, celebrating with my family on a lot of different events. It is not part of the pristine Meadowlands, as everybody says it is. It's a waste area. There's nothing but garbage and junk back there. It's been there for years, and it's been that way for years. People are talking about you can't have fossil fuel anymore. You need different kinds of energy. Well, we talked about solar. There's not enough juice created by solar to do the job a powerhouse does. You want to talk about wind? They wanted to put wind tunnels up across the coast, and that got knocked down. Nobody wants them in their backyard. Nobody wants them out in the ocean. So you don't want wind, you don't want coal, and you sure as hell don't want nuclear. So what are you going to do? You have to have energy. Everybody's talking about pollution. If everybody in this room didn't drive here tonight, you wouldn't have any pollution. The amount of cars that took everybody to get here tonight is going to put out more pollution than that powerhouse will put out in a month. We just did a $400 million new scrubber down at ConocoPhillips. The air that comes out of that is almost as clean as any air you're going to find anywhere. The technology today exists to make the air cleaner than everybody is making this out to be. It's not going to be the biggest polluter in the country. That's just BS. I appreciate the time for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen Nickerson. Karen Nickerson. Karen Nickerson. Oh.
Hi. Karen Nickerson, Nickerson. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Karen Nickerson. I'm the Conservation Chair of Bergen County Audubon Society. I'm here on behalf of our 2,000 members who would like to register their strong opposition to the power plant and pipeline. And thank you so much for your leadership and your consideration.
Thank you.
That was great.
Jeff Rappaport. These people are from Bergen County. I know you're from Bergen County.
R-A-P-A-P-O-R-T. Jeff. We're here, I'm here because I need you. Climate change is real. I'm a grandparent, and I look at my 4-year-old who's a powerhouse. He can't fight for himself right now. I told you this 4 years ago in a different matter when another one was 1 year old. I take this very seriously because it's important to me. I don't care what I leave them materially. I don't really care about any of those things, but I want to leave them a planet. Natural gas 15 years ago was considered the ideal bridge fuel. T. Boone Pickens from Mesa Petroleum was pushing it. Mayor Bloomberg of New York City, major efforts into increasing natural gas. There's only one problem. On the way to the forum, in its extraction through fracking, natural gas is putting in, has a wastage rate of about 5.7% in terms of extraction. And that doesn't count the leakage that takes place while it's transporting. Methane, natural gas, the same thing, is 87 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than CO2 for decades into the future. During a time when we may be needing our scientists to be able to research this, to give them a little bit of breathing room, we're throwing in this massive greenhouse gas into the atmosphere. I urge you to consider that in addition to all the pollution that everybody's talking about. I come from a family of working people. I come from a brother who was a major labor union leader. I have very big sympathies there, and I don't want to hear it in the background either. But the problem is not with them. It's with the jobs that could be created in the alternative if only we can dream about it. Like Kennedy said, we're going to put a man on the moon in 10 years. Well, we did it. We can build windmills that can hire many people and be good union labor. The problem is the very short-term impact on the structures as we know it could affect people and how they make decisions, not of the consumer variety either. Listen, thank you for listening. I appreciate everything you've done in the past, but we have a major problem on our hands, and it's getting worse.
Tina Smith. Is Tina Smith gone? Stephanie Simons.
SYMONDS. Hello, thank you guys for taking the time to hear everybody out. So I'm going to talk about ecosystems. So the Hackensack Meadowlands. This large ecosystem of wetlands supports remarkable biodiversity. Quoting the Fish and Wildlife Service's website, the Meadowlands have more than 275 species of plants, 115 species of invertebrates, 45 species of fish, 25 species of amphibians and reptiles, 332 species of birds, and 24 species of mammals. This includes 88 species of special emphasis, or listed species, that are federally and state-listed ones. This ecosystem that we have is a fragile environment that waterfowl and other species of animals need. More than anything, this is an environmental gem that we have, and it serves as a tool for us to learn from, grow from, and to educate from. Something very much worth safeguarding. In the last 150 years, we've done a heck of a number on this ecosystem, from diking, drilling, and draining, which affected the ecology of the water and its biological environment, to our illegally dumping sewage, rubble, garbage, and hazardous waste into it. We know this. Our misuse and pollution of the land and water has brought invasive species, the disappearance of certain species, and the presence of seriously hazardous contaminants. These are some of the frightening obstacles to the restoration of the Meadowlands. So now we come to the idea of building a giant 1,200 megawatt electric generating power plant on the border of North Bergen and the borough of Ridgefield. A power plant that, who are we kidding, will pollute our already toxic air to power NYC alongside other serious damages. That ammonia, nitrogen oxide, those heavy metals and chemicals, the lead from the steam released from those towers, the fungicides, the algicides, all have to settle somewhere. And that which rises falls. Falls into our river, falls into our land, and falls into our sensitive wetlands. Sensitive. Let's not even mention our children's health. What will happen in the future, chosen freeholders, is that the use of this power plant is our being stuck in an environmental impact so large and so ugly that we have nothing to hand down to our children and their children. We don't learn from the great teacher that's history, and we negate our ability to understand the ecological value and importance of these wetlands. We don't pave new ways towards solutions to the bigger topic of pollution and urban and human sprawl, and we keep on with the same old, and really, what can we say about that? The concept of an ecosystem teaches us one thing, that everything is related to everything else, and that nothing can be modified without affecting something else. The Meadowlands are something beautiful to restore and share with our future generations. It's something to highlight as something New Jersey has and cares for, and something we should continue to learn from and safeguard. Let's use our history as our teacher, and let's not take one step forward and 2 steps back with this power plant. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Peggy Wong.
WONG. Okay. It's getting late. I realize you've all been here for quite a bit, and I do appreciate the time that you've given us, the patience. And I really wasn't going to come to tonight's meeting, but then again, I said to myself, no, I've got to make sure that they understand that the residents of North Bergen do not all support this power plant project. Some of us had a meeting with Mayor Sacco about 3 weeks ago. It was during one of his commissioners' hearings. And I got up and I spoke to him. He knows me very well because I've been very active on the waterfront with our Hudson River Walkway. And some of you, I don't know if I've met any of you in regards to that, but I've been involved. And during Hurricane Sandy, talking about climate change, I had the sad, dubious distinction of watching the walkway flood over onto River Road. And it was a tremendous catastrophe. And the town of Edgewater, the municipal building, was closed for almost a week. So if you want to talk about climate change and not believing in it, I really don't understand anyone who lives on the East Coast who doesn't believe in it. But nevertheless, there are disagreements. When we spoke to Mayor Sacco, I pointed out to him something he knew very well. Number one, the application from this developer was not invited by the state of New York or the city of New York. The application was just submitted. It was not by invitation. The city of New York and the state of New York, the power commission for the state of New York says that they don't need additional energy. And this was in view of the fact that the plant up in Westchester was closing, the nuclear power plant. So this project is a speculative project, and I said that to Mayor Sacco. He did not deny it. So you are being asked to vote down a speculative project that is going to harm our air and air quality and our environment. I mean, if this was a done deal and it was hugely supported by everyone, that's a different story. This is not hugely supported. There are a lot of people in North Bergen who will not speak up for reasons that you can only guess. But I felt that I had to come here. I'm a lifelong resident of New Jersey, as Hudson County, and I do all my shopping in Bergen County, Edgewater, Fort Lee, Paramus. My gym is in Hackensack, so I'm sort of an adopted resident of your county. But I felt that I wanted to come here and make you consider the fact that you're being asked to vote down the project as a speculative project. Don't put us in danger. New Jersey right now is already in bad shape in terms of our environment. Our own governor seems to be backtracking from his campaign promises. It's going to be a little bit of point of disillusionment with some of our public officials. And I would plead with you, please, do the right thing. Thank you.
Ms. Wong, I just want to clarify something. We're not voting on anything. We have no jurisdiction on it. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, but you can vote on a resolution objecting to it, as the other 48 towns have done. Thank you.
Thank you. Jean Nietzsche.
Nietzsche. Nietzsche. Yes, my name is Jeannie Nietzsche, and I live in Richfield. And I've lived in town since I'm 2 years old. She made a point, I think it was the first one I heard tonight, and that was going to be my first point. Mayor de Blasio has said he doesn't need power. So I'm not sure why we're even thinking about this. So New York doesn't need it. Unlike what some people said, it's going to lower our utility costs. It's not. It's not for New Jersey. The only thing New Jersey is going to get, Bergen County anyway, is pollution. That's all we're going to get. Richfield has a very large power plant. Can we really afford to build 2 of them in such close proximity to each other and poison everyone? I mean, all the cases of asthma, all the pulmonary problems, I'm not sure why you're even thinking about it, or why you shouldn't even hesitate to pass this resolution that 48 towns have passed. And it is disappointing about our governor. He's supposedly the green governor. Is the green the money, or is the green energy that we should be having? It is the money, apparently, because he's not stepping in to save us from this. When is the time for renewable energy? We're going to build a fossil fuel plant in 2019 that has a life of what? I don't know why on earth you would even consider not voting for this. If you want to leave Bergen County a better place than when you found it, than before you were elected as our freeholders, then I beg you to please come on board, join the 48 towns, and say, no, this is terrible pollution for our people, for our air, for the children, for everybody. I mean, why are we, it doesn't make sense. And the fellows who want the jobs, I get it too. I understand that. I lost my job at age 50 after 29 years as a research chemist, so believe me, I know it. But you have Democrats in Washington that want to rebuild every building in America. Just think how much work you're going to have. So please, please, please consider it seriously. Why should Bergen County, Hudson County is not going to keep the pollution in Hudson County. It's going to go where the wind blows, and where the wind blows is well into Bergen County. So I thank you for listening to me, and I urge you, please vote for the resolution.
Donald DeAugustine.
Good evening. D-E-A-U-G-U-S-T-I-N-E. Good evening. I'd like to thank the Freeholder Board for giving me the opportunity to get up here and state some of my views and some of the facts that I have from my experience. I've been a millwright for 40 years. I represent my local as a business agent for Millwright Local 715. We cover the whole state of New Jersey, and we're involved in wind energy, solar energy, power generation. We recently built a plant in Linden, New Jersey that's using gray water, and I was involved in that project. And some of the statements that have been made about gray water are without any merit. They utilize gray water from the sewage treatment plant that gets filtered and goes through the cooling towers and then comes back to the authority. There's a meter on it going out and a meter on it going back in. The local government is getting these subsidies because they're getting billed, the power utility is getting billed on the way in and the way out in this water. And it's getting put back out after it's been filtered in better shape than what they would be dumping into the streams without that. So it's another step of filtration that makes that actually safer than what's getting dumped out of the secondary filtration that's happening now at our local sewage authorities. And it kind of upsets me that, the accusations that we don't care about our families, that, what about our children? That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about all my members. They have families to feed. Is the bank going to take a holiday until we discover solar or wind energy that's affordable? We're going to be out in the street and we'll be on welfare. I guess the people that want to go green will be able to support our families until this technology becomes affordable. We're going to work ourselves out of this state. So to come up with these resolutions against the plant, and taking these fear-mongering facts that they manipulate to make you say, oh, my children, it's going to make me sick. Let's look at the real facts. Let's look at what's going to happen in the near future. We can't say where technology is going to be in 20 years because it's changing so quickly. But I guarantee you, if it gets to be where it's affordable to go with green energy throughout the state, we're all behind it 100%. But we got to get to that point, and we're not there yet. Thank you.
Thank you. James Contolios. James Contolios.
Kontolios. First name James. 912 Linden Avenue, Richfield, New Jersey. I'm going to use my 3 minutes wisely and start off positive. We'd like to thank the county for this spring paving Edgewater Avenue, Shaler Boulevard, Hendricks Causeway, and Maple Avenue. It's long overdue. The potholes are killing us. So you can't do it fast enough for us. Please come as soon as possible. I want to just refute what the second speaker said about Mayor Suarez. When he was in office at the time, he was in a 6-to-1 minority. He did not support that project, and he did not. And I was not in office at the time. This is my first term as a councilman. None of the present councilmen were in office at the time, so they did not support that project. The ratables that we supposedly get from PSE&G, the CSX Railroad, we don't get. The state takes the money, and if they decide to appropriate it to us, you know, it doesn't happen. We don't get it that way. We've had to find new ways to get ratables. The Meadowlands money that we're supposed to get, by statute from 1969, that was line item vetoed to us by Governor Christie, and we've had to sue the state to get the money. So we're not getting all these, you know, great ratables. That's not true either. The constituents of Richfield, you know, elected me. I'm here to send a message from them. They also elected you. We're concerned about our water. We're concerned about our air. We're concerned about increased traffic going to this proposed power plant. And we're also kind of concerned about our property values. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you. Andy Benish. Is Andy Benish here? Oh, there he is.
Stand on the other side, sir.
I'm sorry. Okay. I want to thank the Freeholder Board for giving me a chance to speak. I'm new to Bergen County. I moved in July from Middlesex County, and I am active with the Green Faith Circle, and also I'm on the Green Team on my new town of Fairlawn. And I see that this is a huge issue. I also been going to the health board meetings, and I'm retired from the State Department of Health. So although I was in the regulatory area, I always heard about health issues, including cancer clusters. So I know that it's very important, and therefore I urge you to pass the resolution stating that the power plant is not a good idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Paul Kaufman.
K-A-U-F-M-A-N. First name Paul. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I have many reasons why I'm opposed to this power plant. I had chosen to focus on the issue of the damage to the Meadowlands that several speakers recently have focused on that rather forcefully. And all I want to say is that I can remember when the Meadowlands were the trash heap of northern New Jersey. I'm old enough to remember when it was a sewer, it was used for toxic waste, it was used for construction debris, it was used for all kinds of garbage. And the last number of decades, due to the work of Hackensack Riverkeeper and a number of dedicated environmentalists, the Meadowlands are coming back, ready to resume the role of a repository for water, a filter for water, prevention for flooding, and all the wonderful things which a wetland is supposed to do. There are species that have returned that haven't been in this neighborhood for 50 years, species of birds, fish, animals, and plants, and it's coming back. My fear is that if this plant is built, the gains of the last 50 years will be obliterated. and they may be permanently obliterated. So I'm urging you to join with more than 40 other municipalities in Bergen County and pass this resolution opposing the Meadowlands Power Plant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Christine Lepore. Yes.
Lepore, one word. Thank you. I know that you all have a precious job, and you're giving us your precious time. I would like to say that I represent a group from the north, the south, the east, and the west of New Jersey. We are all concerned about each other. This is a Mitsubishi financial investment that is made for the point of preparing natural gas to be put into a pipeline system and brought down into the Newark Bay and exported. You say that we need it for New Jersey. It is not going to be used in New Jersey. The product from this plant will not be used in New York. New York has said, no thank you, we are not going to buy product that is from fossil fuel. The only product that this plant will produce is to prepare fracked natural gas to be exported down to through the pipelines that are already being proposed and sent out overseas to make profit for the Mitsubishi financial investment. Now, I know that you say that you are Bergen County, and yes, you are. But we are all people, and we all need to make our decisions thinking about each other. We have to tell Governor Murphy, thank you. You said that we would be a state that would use renewable resources. Let's ask him to, when he draws his plan for the future, that he keep those promises. I want labor to have jobs. I want labor to have long-term jobs. Labor jobs for this particular plan will be 3 to 4 years to construct it. How many jobs will remain at that plant that will not be robotic, computerized? What will that labor force be? This plant has a 40-year life. 40 years later, what we will have is pollution in New Jersey and exported gas to fill the pockets and line the benefit of the Mitsubishi financial investment. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you. Matt Smith.
Good evening, Freeholders. My name is Matthew Smith, Senior Organizer with Food and Water Watch. I'm here on behalf of our 7,000 members and supporters in Bergen County to urge the Freeholders to oppose the Meadowlands Power Plant proposal. There's been a lot of claims made this evening, and there's been some inaccuracies on both sides, to be quite frank. But just to clear the air and provide some facts. There is a few important reasons why we are here this evening, Freeholder Sullivan. First and foremost is that the prevailing winds that would blow the pollution, the nitrogen oxides, the particulate matter that's linked to all sorts of lung and heart disease, which Bergen County, the eastern section where the plant would be, is already rated an F by the American Lung Association. Those towns would bear the brunt of the pollution. Hudson County would get it too, but Bergen County would get a brunt of the pollution and the public health costs. Particularly vulnerable are outdoor workers. So trips to the emergency room would increase when you're putting another major power plant, an emitter of these harmful pollutants, less than 1 mile away from another major source of these same air pollutants.
Where's that major source?
PSE&G's
Oh, in Ridgefield.
Ridgefield
Oh,
Generating
okay.
Station.
All right.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think the other big piece here is that Bergen County gets no benefit from the project, right? So there would be, according to the company, and you can verify this on their website, there would be approximately 1,200 temporary one-season construction jobs produced from the plant, and no more than 24 permanent jobs, most of which would be low-paying security jobs. So you're in a difficult position, but I think if we look at the actual facts and the cost-benefit of this proposal, there's very little, if any, benefit to the residents of Bergen County. I mean, I understand that everyone needs a job, but as freeholders, your job is to make the decisions that are best for the majority of the residents of the county, not for a special interest, but for the majority of the near 1 million residents who live in the county, whose property values would be affected, those who live near the plant, whose health would be affected, whose water would be affected. You know, the gray water point is a good one. However, you're not including for air deposition. When you pump that gray water up the towers, the condensate that forms is going to contain many of the chemicals and heavy metals that are produced through the burning of that gas, and that would go right back into Bergen County's water supply. I'm going to use my full 3 minutes. Furthermore, millions of gallons of diesel oil are proposed to be stored on site. This power plant, though it's been said it's not in the Meadowlands, would be directly on the banks of the Bellman's Creek, which feeds directly into the Hackensack River, which is surrounded by state-preserved wetlands. If there was a major release of diesel fuel from the site, or any construction fluid for that matter, this could irreparably harm a natural resource that brings in millions of dollars in tourist revenue to the county, and that is a treasure jewel for the county. So we know that the county has an important role, both using its voice to weigh in on this fight, join the 48 towns in passing the resolution opposing it, and also we don't think the county should be investing taxpayer money into a water pipeline through the Bergen County Utilities Authorities to feed a power plant that would hurt our county's residents. So thank you very much for your time this evening.
Renee Alessio.
Freeholder Chairwoman?
Yes.
I don't know why you singled me out of everybody that's in here. I don't know why you walked. I'm just another freeholder like everyone else with an opinion. So I don't know why you singled me out. I never said I was in favor or against this. This is the problem. When you don't hear what you want to hear, you twist words. Excuse me, you had your 3 minutes, right? Okay. So you had your 3 minutes. And I'm going to take offense to what you say about these jobs. I'm not here to tell you if it's good for Bergen County or bad for Bergen County, but you just insulted a room full of people by calling them temporary jobs. These men and women, these men and women, okay. I mean, if you want to go outside and talk after this, we could talk, but I have the floor right now. These men and women here that are here, these are not temporary jobs for them. It's a career, exactly right. They go from job to job. And I'm not here saying, you are the rudest individual I've ever met in my life, okay? You are the rudest individual I've ever met. And I'm just here to say, we are here to listen to the facts, and that's what I'm doing. I'm listening. I've heard very valid points from both sides, and for you to come up here and assume something and accuse people of something is just wrong. Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Alessio.
Hi. Allessio. Renee. Renee. Nenee. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm with the Franciscans' response to fossil fuels. We're a faith-based group. I'm a resident of Passaic County, but my 3 young grandchildren do live in Bergen County. I was also the Right to Know coordinator for over 10 years for the Passaic County Department of Health. And was in a professional healthcare union. I understand the added the health risk this plant would pose, and the increased methane, a greenhouse gas, and other fossil fuel infrastructure, and methane, a greenhouse gas that this plant would produce. Okay. If I don't speak for my young grandchildren against this project and other fossil fuel infrastructure and promote clean, renewable energy, who will? I want a future for them. By the way, I have solar panels on my own home. It has cut my electricity. I think these people are being rude. Sorry. By the way, as I said, I have solar panels on my house, and it has cut my electricity costs to nothing during the summer months. And I support good paying green jobs for New Jersey workers. The climate change crisis is here, and together we can work, and together we can work for the right solutions. So I please, urge you to pass a resolution against the power plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Friedman.
What's that?
Kathy Friedman, Friedman. You're welcome. I have no idea how this shirt looks. Oops. Hi. Thank you very much this evening for your patience and listening to everybody and everything that's being said. First of all, I'd like everyone to know that there is a website called NoMeadowlandsPowerPlant.com. Many of the topics that you've heard today and the facts that have been said can be looked up on that website, and because there's a lot of information that's been shared tonight, and it can be a little bit confusing. And as Mr. Sullivan said, you've heard pros and cons, and you guys are doing your best to be objective on a very important topic. I live in North Bergen. I live in Hudson County. I've lived there for 10 years, and prior to that, I lived in Bergen County. I lived in 2 towns. My kids went to school in Bergen County. It is an amazing educational system that we have there, and it's a beautiful county. Hudson County's awesome as well. You've heard all about the Meadowlands, you know about it. But what I've learned is, and what I've shared with my friends and family from Bergen County is, that I'm really not that far away anymore. I live in northern Bergen County. I can't hear because of the people in the back. If there's anything that you guys can do to help us up here, we'd really appreciate it. I live on the border of Fairview. Thank you so much. North Bergen, where the plant is being considered, is on the border of Ridgefield, as you know. It's also off the highway, tunnely, Route 1 and 9. In the last 10 years that I've lived there, all I've seen is construction on Route 1 and 9. When one project is done, then another one comes in. What I'm about to say are things that have already been touched on. With the infrastructure, people can leave if they feel that they've heard enough, but we all have a right to speak. So the infrastructure, there's always room for more infrastructure. If this project doesn't happen, there'll be jobs for people, just like when the large company, LG, came. They had hearings like this, and they came to a compromise. So there is a way. In my opinion, this project is rob Peter to pay Paul. You've all heard that the project is speculative. There is nobody out there who needs the gas who wants to pay for the gas. So what happens if, God forbid, all of the potential problems that people have already talked about, whether it's the diesel fuel that leaks into the groundwater, whether it's methane that catches on fire and we can't call in Red Adair from the Permian Basin to come put it out like we did years ago, what if all these terrible things happen and Mitsubishi has sold this project to someone else and we had no say in the contract? What happens to the liability? Who do you go after? What's going to happen, and who's going to be responsible for things that you can't foresee? Because they have no vested interest. So with the health, the reality that there is nobody out there, there is no accountability. And also, one last thing, the education level in the towns where I used to live, like I said, were amazing. I predict 75% of the people in North Bergen don't even know what's going on, and that's why you don't have the voices, and that's why we're coming to you. We need your help. There's a political machine that still exists in Hudson County that does not exist in Bergen County, and we need your help to educate and put power behind our words, and everyone will benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron Schwartz. Ron Schwartz. I think Ron left. Sarah Newell.
Newell. Newell. Sarah. AH. My name is Sarah. I'm from Belfast, Northern Ireland, so I think I've travelled the furthest. I'm living here in New Jersey. I'm an organiser for Green Faith, and we're an interfaith environmental organisation. We work for diverse...
Please let her speak.
Diverse religions coming together. We work with diverse religions coming together for environmental action. As an Irish person, I know what it looks like for a country to move into renewable energy. I have the perspective and the mindset of how a country can transition. It looks fair, it looks equitable, and it looks sustainable for our planet and for our communities. At Green Faith, we are very supportive of strong policies that would require funding to maintain workers' incomes and health benefits while they make job transitions when these are necessary. It's why we support generous funding for retraining that more and more people are going to need around the country and around the world. I'm a Christian and I care about creation. I care for the abundance of gifts that it provides every day for everyone in this room. If you're a person of faith, of any religion, of any spirituality, you know that this power plant is morally wrong. I'm 25 years old. I'm in a different country. I'm dedicating my life to this calling. The climate crisis is real, and I care for my future. People are adapting. Countries are adapting. The world is adapting because we have to. New Jersey needs to cast its vision to a healthy, fair, and equitable future for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we good? I would like to first thank everyone for coming this evening, and may I have a motion to close public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to thank everyone for coming this evening and expressing your concerns. We've been in contact with the governor's office and with the DEP on this matter. They're all well aware of all your concerns, and they are currently going through and conducting a thorough review. Our jurisdiction is for matters pertaining to county property in Bergen County, not in other counties or on state-controlled land. We're not here to be governing our neighboring counties. As residents of Bergen County ourselves, the health and safety of our constituents is our paramount concern. But if the plant endangers the residents of Bergen County, there are enforceable measures available that can be pursued beyond seeking a ceremonial resolution. We will continue to closely monitor the situation and keep all options available to us at our disposal. And as always, continue to look out for the best interests of the residents of Bergen County. Thank you all for coming this evening. Will the clerk read the resolutions on the consent agenda? Do you need a break, or do you want? You're good?
We'll do the consent first, and then I'll. So do the consent, and then I'll pull it. Ricky.
These people are all there on.
I need a break.
All right, we're gonna follow them everywhere they go.
Well, the
Resolutions of consent are 16119 through 22919.
Chairwoman, if I may, I'd like to have 16219 pulled from the consent agenda.
all in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda as read by the clerk? All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chairwoman Omarosa.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Aye. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur.
Yes.
Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
With 7 ayes, the consent agenda has passed.
Are there any resolutions, non-consent, pulled or tabled?
There is one resolution of non-consent, 16219. It is a qualifying award confirming annual maintenance agreement scanning services for various locations, RFQ 18-022, submitted by Administration and Finance Division of Information Technology.
Chairwoman, if I may?
Yes.
The reason for pulling this off the non-consent is I wanted to have a discussion. I had spoken to the administrator prior to the meeting and would like to do an amendment on the floor. I believe that the body of the resolution is unclear and, in my opinion, should include the $200,000 not to exceed. That's in the title, should be included in the body of the resolution. So I'd ask Freeholder Council and the administrator to work on that and us approve the resolution under the guise that would be rectified.
That's acceptable to administration, and if you like, I can make a proposed amendment here on the floor. And in the first, now therefore be it resolved paragraph, I would propose adding to the end of that paragraph, so following for a total estimated value not to exceed $65,757.50 to be charged to the account identified with a total not to exceed amount of $200,000 for maintenance services, if we add that tag to the end of that paragraph.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adopt that language as part of the body of the resolution.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Will the clerk read our first ordinance? Oh, we have to make a vote. I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
The roll call on 16219, Vice Chairwoman Omarosa.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Aye. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes, as amended.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur.
Yes.
Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
With 7 ayes, 1619 is adopted as amended.
Thank you. Will the clerk read our first ordinance, ordinance 19-05 by title only?
1905 is a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of 101-103 Hudson Street in the city of Hackensack and various capital improvements thereto, to the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $2,200,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,095,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chairwoman Omarosa.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur.
Yes.
Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
With 7 ayes, 1905 passes first reading.
We will now go on to our ordinance for second reading and adoption of ordinance 19-06. Will the clerk read ordinance 19-06 by title only?
19-06 is an ordinance to adopt an amended table of organization pursuant to the memorandum of agreement signed on January 1st, 2015 for the Bergen County Bureau of Police Services during the post-realignment period. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing ordinance number 1906 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, February 15th, 2019.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 19-06 to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is open with a 5-minute time limit in effect to speak about ordinance 19-06 only at this time. The board attorney will keep the time. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 19-06?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's twice tonight.
Is there any board discussion on ordinance 19-06?
Chairwoman,
Yes.
I would just like to thank and commend the sheriff for being proactive in this matter and alerting the Freeholder Board to the need to update the table of organization.
Thank you, Freeholder. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 19-06 as was read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur.
Yes.
You forgot Freeholder Sullivan.
I have a old grid. Apologies.
How could you do
It
that?
says Chairman Sullivan on here. So
Especially
how
you got so
about,
much excitement today.
Former Chairman Sullivan votes in favor of the ordinance.
thank you.
Chairman Emeritus.
With all 7 freeholders voting yes, 1906 is adopted and passes second reading.
We will now have the Freeholder Committee report.
So, Chairwoman, in light of the time and the length of tonight's meeting, although we all attended numerous events, community functions, I would make a motion to suspend reports this evening.
I will second them.
All in favor?
Aye.
There being opposed?
No.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Freeholder. There being nothing further to come before this meeting, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.